Mysterious as the universe was, so is the bottom of the sea. The ocean hides many secrets. Some are true, others are not. We've heard the stories of Atlantis, Bermuda Triangle, the sea monsters. The world never ran out of mysteries to resolve. And in this video, Buster Nation, we will dive deep in the midst of the Baltic Sea and to reveal the story behind the Baltic Sea Anomaly. In June 2011, the Ocean X team, led by a Swedish explorer, Peter Lindberg, were set for a dive searching for a shipwreck. The team described themselves as treasure hunters and salvage operators who specialize in underwater searches for sunken, high-end alcoholic beverage and historic artifacts. But that day, the team will discover something strange, something that would bring them into the global stage. The Ocean X discovered an odd-shaped object on the ocean bed of the Baltic Sea, now widely known as the Baltic Sea Anomaly. The mysterious object is a 70-meter long, 26 feet tall object with a rather strange features that resemble to that of the ramps, stairways, and other structures which cannot be produced by nature. The team suggested that their sonar image showed an object that was seemingly non-natural origin. This has prompted a speculation published in a tabloid newspaper that the object was a sunken UFO. One of the members of the Ocean X team, Stefan Hogerborn, further said that their electrical equipment stopped working the moment they entered within the 200 meters of the anomaly on the Baltic Sea bed. Some claimed they were some sort of a World War II bunkers or an ancient temple, but the most popular of which is the claim that it could be a part of a fleet of crashed UFOs on ocean floor. Some conspiracy theorists even pointed out the striking resemblance of the mysterious object to that of the Star Wars Millennium Falcon, with a steel grey appearance. After the story published by the UK-based tabloid newspaper in June 2012, a mass of imaginative illustration was created, resembling the underwater photos, and high-resolution scans circulated, along with the rumors that the object could be a UFO or a portal into another world. 1 year later, the Swedish divers revisited the site on an expedition, and diving at the depth of around 300 feet, they explored the anomaly to take a closer look at the visited site and claimed to find a second disc-shaped object. Accordingly, they saw rocks forming a ring, just like somebody put them there. Upon closer inspection, however, the diver said that the anomaly is more closely resembled as concrete than a natural rock. Lindberg also claimed that they turned off all instruments and everyone on board turned off their cell phones. Then, they found a signal coming from nearby. The nearest land where you might find such a signal is 20 nautical miles away, and their equipment, according to Lindberg, can only measure 2 or maybe 3 kilometers away, which leads Lindberg to believe that a signal is originating from the anomaly. However, they can't say for certain whether it's trying to receive or broadcast that signal. In the depths, the explorer found that the site shaped like an almost perfect 60 meters in diameter circle, which the mainstream press outlets were quick to stamp it as a UFO landing site. So what is the truth? Is there really a UFO crash site in the Baltic Sea? Is it just a circular rock formation, or it's just another strategy to earn a fortune? Geologists and some experts in remote imaging said that Lindberg and his team have actually let their imagination run wild, or Ocean X is intentionally misleading some wealthy tourists who, they told the press, they are hoping to take on a submarine tours of the site. Jonathan Hill of Mars Space Flight Facility questioned the motives involved in Ocean X announcement, which include plans to take wealthy tourists in a submarine to visit the site. Also, Lindberg suggested in his 2019 interview the possibility for a new expedition via a television production in which they are involved. In 2012, Hill was quoted saying, "Whenever people make extraordinary claims, it's always a good idea to consider for a moment whether they are personally benefiting from the claim, or if it's truly an objective observation." Hill also suggests it would have been very simple to break off a piece and have it geologically tested, but the test result showing that the controversial object was simply a rock will not benefit Lindberg in any way. But to give the benefit of the doubt, let's focus on the samples and images provided by Lindberg and the Ocean X. Let's see what experts have to say with all this. Some samples of stones that were allegedly recovered by Ocean X at the site were given to a professor of geology at Stockholm University, Volker Brochert. In his analysis, he found out that most of the samples were granites, gneisses, and sandstones. There was a single loose piece of volcanic rock among the samples, which may be deemed as an out of place considering that the site was under the sea. However, this thing was not unusual according to him. The professor stressed that possibly the sample rock were transported by glaciers. Other geologists like Frederick Klingberg and Martin Jacobson also announced that the chemical composition of the samples that were provided resembles that of nodules, which are not uncommon in seabed, and that the materials found, including limonite and goethite, can likely be formed by nature itself. Several scientists also reacted to the photo published by Swedish newspaper Expressen, purportedly taken by Ocean X during the dive to collect rock samples, many of which impeach the idea of alien spacecraft, and announced that the image most likely shows a natural geological formation. Also, in an interview with Popular Mechanics, scientist Charles Paul of the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute said that the indistinct sonar image was more likely a rock outcrop, sediment dropped from a fishing trawler, or even a school of fish, and ended by describing the story as curious and fun, but much ado about nothing. A marine archaeologist at Maritime Museum in Stockholm, Goran Ekberg, said a natural geological formation cannot be ruled out. Ekberg agreed that the finding looks weird since it's completely circular, but added that nature has produced stranger things than that. With respect to the runway portion of the anomaly, a Finnish planetary geomorphologist, Jarmo Konterniemi, said that it is most likely a natural rock formation, a drumlin formed by glacial action. Lindberg and his team offered some proof to bolster their claim, many of which has been debunked by some scientists. One of these claims they made, they announced to have observed burned rocks scattered at the site as a result of being burned into space, or as a result of the crash. When Ocean X team revisited the site, there is such a claim made by one of the divers at the Ocean X team that they've discovered an entrance in the top of the UFO-like object, as well as rocks scattered across the sunken UFO, which the Swedish divers say are mysteriously charred. The charred rock were purported to be the remnant perhaps of its crash or burned through the atmosphere. Lindberg added that since no volcanic activity has been reported in the Baltic Sea, the find becomes more stranger. However, the experts have observed no signs of charring in the explorer's new release photo of an underwater rock file. A marine geologist at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, Dan Fornari said that the description of charred rocks is completely unwarranted. The fact that the rocks found were black does not necessarily follow the idea of burned rocks. The chief scientist at Nautilus Exploration Program, Catherine Croft Bell, supported Fornari's claim when she announced that practically all rocks that have been underwater for a long time are black, so their color does not necessarily indicate volcanic or burned origin. The Ocean X team also announced the existence of an egg-shaped hole-like opening. The divers claimed that the UFO object had an egg-shaped hole leading into it from the top as an opening. However, there is no such photo that jives to this description in their press release. They did not release images of the entire seafloor feature. In fact, the only image in existence is that unclear image taken by the sonar scanning. How about the photo illustration that spread widely around the globe? An MSNBC report speculated that the interpretation of the image as a flying saucer are likely the result of graphic outlines intended to suggest the fictional spaceship Millennium Falcon drawn onto the sonar image by tabloid newspapers. Jonathan Hill stressed that the Ocean X team outlined the seafloor feature and exaggerated its resemblance to the Millennium Falcon spaceship from Star Wars. He also added that drawing a picture of the Millennium Falcon over a sonar image that only forces your imagination to see patterns that almost certainly don't really exist. With all the findings from experts, it reveals that the elements by which the anomaly is composed are not aliens and may even likely be a result of a natural process. Except for the murky image with the resemblance of a Star Wars spacecraft, there is no unique composition that edify an alien matter or any evidence that would actually rebut the possibility of a natural rock formation. In addition to this, the single sonar image provided by Ocean X cannot even be trusted because several distortions have rendered the image virtually useless to properly identify the controversial undersea formation. For now, the only substantial claims that would support the existence of UFO spacecraft on the Baltic Sea are those oral testimonies delivered by the team, whose motive is quite questionable. Buster Nation, hoaxes and scams are becoming so good at many different levels. It's getting harder to pinpoint which one is real from fake. Media framing, evidence alteration, and all other sort of deceit are being staged in a whole different level of subtlety. That is why this generation likely becomes an easy target. But to us, who dare seek the truth and dives deeper into the depth of knowledge, we know when a claim is a hoax. And as to this Baltic Sea anomaly that offers no concrete evidence except for a blurry sonar image, we can validly declare that the anomaly is debunked.